We all here? If you are, take a step forward. Fantastic. And take a step back for me. How long does it take to get for 7 recruits to stand in a line? Welcome to the 4IB. You've passed your application and interview process and you've made it as far as phase 1. I know some of you were on the server last night or on Wednesday. From that, you'll know the kind of high standard which we strive for and we want to achieve. Our training program is designed to give you the correct knowledge, practical skills and relevant information to make sure you're prepared for current and future deployments. Lessons learned here today will provide you for the groundwork that will allow you to become a disciplined and functioning member of the 4IB in Arma. And keep in mind that if you want to expand this knowledge at a higher level, obviously phase 3 promotional courses are available down the line. This is phase 1. We teach you the basics and make sure that when you go into your sections and your section ICs continue your phase 2 training, that you're not completely shit. So, as you can see, I'm acting Sergeant Walker. Currently 2 platoon sergeant and phase 1 lead instructor. And I'll be leading your training this evening along with the 3 gentlemen behind me. Acting Corporal Berghaus, Acting Lance Corporal Carlisle, and Acting Corporal Elkim. Few things to cover. First of all, if everybody can turn and face the Morpool for me, at an angle, and press the G key. Those that threw the smoke, what did you do wrong?
Didn't have the grenade key bound to double tap G.
Correct. So everybody that needs to change their key bindings, do so now. I recommend you take the grenade throwing key bind off single tap of G, rebind it to double tap or shift G or something else entirely that is away from your kind of primary keys that you'll be using on op. The last thing you want to do is when you're on deployment is do that there by accident with a frag grenade into a friendly section. Believe me, it's happened before and it makes everybody annoyed.
Yeah, right, I've done that.
Cool. Once you've done it, face forward again. How's you rebound your throw key?
I can't find it.
It is configure, controls, I think it's under common, or weapons. Yeah, weapons, but halfway down, throw. Booth, put your weapon system back in your back. Okay, so a few points of admin that you need to know before we can release you to your sections is we do have an LOA system in the 4IB. It's a pet hate for everybody involved, from the guys that make the missions to officers to fellow section members. If you can't be there for a night, that's absolutely fine. Whether it's you've got a doctor's appointment, your dog's sick, or you just don't want to play Arma for the evening, post an LOA. Your section ICs will go into more detail once you're assigned to them about how to do this, but the long and short of it is, give us notice that you're not going to be there. It allows our Zeusers to plan for how many guys they can have in the field, and your platoon commanders to organise plans, strategies for once you're on the server. And everybody wants to have as many people on as we possibly can. There's nothing fun about 3 people in a section for a night and 5 people AWOL. Operations are Wednesdays and Saturdays. You'll be expected to be here for 7:15, and we aim to be loading on the server for 7 o'clock. Everybody should be on by 15:15, and we're kicking off and out of our PB by 30:30. So, Phase 1, what are we going to teach you tonight? As I said, we're going to run through the basics. We're going to be running through basics of ACE interaction, basic signals and radio use, some battlefield first aid, fire control orders. You'll then have your annual combat marksmanship test over on the range. We'll then move on to some fieldcraft, section drills and movements, some basic navigation, and at that point, should you suitably impress myself and the chap standing behind me, you'll be pass your Phase 1 and be handed off to your section ICs to continue your Phase 2 training. Anybody have any questions at this time? Good answer. Well, I'll hand you over to Ati Corporal Berghaus, who's going to take you through some of the basics. Berghaus.
Thank you, Alexander Walker. Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. I'm Acting Corporal Berghaus, and I will be taking you through a few things when it comes to radios, ACE interaction, and a few others. Now, that being said, who here has not used ACE before? Step forward. All of you have used ACE. Wonderful. So we'll go into what you need to learn. We will not go into too much detail then. Wonderful. So, how do you open up your ACE? Very simple. If you hold down your control and you press your Windows key, you will go to self-interaction. This is the window that you'll be using most in the field, either treating yourself, checking your team management, digging a trench, whatever it may be. At the top, you will see listed equipment. Now, under equipment, you'll have a few options. Really 2 options, or the 3 options you have to pay attention to, is the attach item 1. With that, you may attach an IR strobe, if so ordered by a section IC, so you're visible at night. You may put in your earplugs, which will be quite important once you get to the range. And you may also dig trenches, and if you hover over the entrenching tool, you may dig a small, big, short, giant, and a vehicle trench. Don't do it now, for the love of Christ. You will get to practice that with your sections, and once you're actually deployed. But that's the basics of digging a trench and sort of a few things on the equipment, as some of you probably already known. If we hover over the team management button, you'll see you have a slew of options to join different teams. Red being Charlie, green being the IC, blue being the 2 IC, blue being Delta Fire Team, and yellow being the 2 IC. Just a few things you can know. Alrighty. Now, let's go over the basics of medical. You can access this through self-interaction. You'll see 2 options. You'll see both medical and the medical menu. Medical is useful if you want to do it on the quick, on the fly, but I would strongly suggest you get used to the medical menu and you start to learn it. So do me a favor, everybody open up the medical menu. Click on your right arm. Click on the 3rd button, which should be a broken bone, reading bandage and fractures, and click on any bandage and apply it. That was an order. Go ahead and do it. Good. You can follow simple tasks. This will be a lot easier. Alrighty. Everybody was able to do that. And everybody saw how to do it. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, second most important bit when it comes to your infantry job that we're going to cover now is your radios. Now, what are radios? In this section, you'll find 2 radios that you'll generally see and a third one which you generally will not. The one radio that you will have is the short range, the PRR, the personal radio. Now, if everybody here holds control and presses P, you'll see a radio pop up. Do that for me, please. Now, you gentlemen will see 3 knobs at the top. Mr. Riley, what does the left knob say?
Previous channel / next channel.
Righty. Mr. Bland, what does the other knob say?
Decrease volume and increase volume.
Very good. Gentlemen, since you've said that you know how to use ACE, please, actually we'll get that in a second, disregard that, get back to your radios. So, decrease, increase volume, and set the channels. Gentlemen, get yourself on channel 1, and if you hover over the little window that you'll have, select a number and delete it. Now, get yourself on channel 1, or frequency 100, so type in 100, and then press ENT. Once you've done that, exit your radio by pressing escape. And then look at me. Now, when it comes to radio keys, a few things to note is how to change volumes. As you can hear, I'm going from very loudly to quite quietly. If you hold control and you press tab, you will go from whisper, which is a little whispering symbol. You will go to normal, which is the chat bubble, and you will go to yelling, which is an open hand. Learn these, because if somebody says go and whisper, memorize what the symbol looks like. If somebody says get on yelling, also important to memorize the symbol. Everybody cool with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Very good. Now, with the radios, how do we use them? It's very simple. To use the radio, you have to set the frequency, which we've done. We haven't been told to use the radio. Please follow instructions. Thank you. To use the radio, it's very simple. Caps lock. Caps lock is your short-range radio button. So, if all of you gentlemen can hear me, I'm currently speaking on frequency 100. Can everybody hear that over the radio?
Yes.
Yep.
Does anybody not hear it? Good. Wonderful. We know how to use radios. Right. So, as we've seen, the left knob increases or decreases the channel. The right knob, well, decreases the volume. Coolio. Righty. Do you gentlemen know your radios? That's a question. I expect an answer.
Not particularly.
Not personally.
Cool.
Yeah, I've used 152s and things in the past.
Oh, you have?
I have to
Wonderful,
use
because we'll
them,
be
but
doing
no.
checks. So, we'll just quickly do a radio check. Nothing formal. Say your name, say radio check, and we'll see. We'll start with you, Mr. Ward.
Ward radio check 100 up there.
And then go from the man to your left and go down the line.
Antenna radio check.
Riley radio check.
Warlito radio check, frequency 100 over.
Blunt radio check.
Booth radio check, frequency 100 over.
House radio check, frequency 100 over.
Very good. Wonderful. You gentlemen know how to use your radios. Now, I'll cover this shortly, I'll cover this briefly. It is not that important, but it still needs to be covered. If, in the circumstance that your entire section goes down, your IC, your 2IC, your 3IC, your senior section members, and it's only you. It is your duty to then go on the radio, key up, and send a message to the platoon, basically informing them that the section's been fucked and you need help. Now, we will not word it like this, because that's a bit silly and a bit unprofessional. So, what do we do? In a mass cast situation, which, does anybody here know what mass cast stands for?
Mass casualties.
Alright, Very good. Next time somebody has an answer, please step forward. Indeed, mass casualties. Mass cas, as the short name implies. Or the acronym, one could say. Now what do? We go on the radio. And how would we do that? The IC or the 2IC have gone down, so we go to their body. If they're dead, we pick it up from their dead body. If they're still alive, we go into their inventory with ace interaction that will hold down the Windows key, and you can interact with other players. Once we've done that, if he's down, we're able to open his inventory. We'll get out his 152. Once we have his 152, we will make sure to open it up, and we will enter in the platoon frequency. The platoon frequencies will be 4-2 for 2 platoon and 4-1 for 1 platoon. And we will go on the radio.
Hello. We've just announced. So we've just gone on the radio. We've said hello. What's next? We need to basically send a message to somebody. So, who are we sending it to? We're sending it to 0. So, hello 0. Alright? So we've done that. Now we need to insert who's sending the message. So, we say, this is, and then you will put in your section, be it 21, 22, 23, 12, AP, doesn't matter what it is, you'll put it in. Then you will state your grid. We will get on how to read grids properly at a later point, but you will put in your grid, as in, add grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, mass gas. Please advise. And then you will say a word that you say at the end of every message, over. That's how you do mass gas. To go over again, hello, 0 Bravo. This is insert section name. In our case, we'll use 2-3. This is 2-3. Add grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mass cas. Please advise. Over.
That's all you have to do, and that's how you sort a mass casualty situation. Wonderful. Now we're already speaking about a mass casualty situation. What do we do if we're wounded? Since we don't want to become a casualty, we're going to treat ourselves. Now, I've shown you how to open up your medical menu. So, Mr. Blant.
Yep.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank
Mr.
you.
Riley, how do you open it up?
I press H or use the eighth interaction mainly.
Wonderful. So if we open up that, we'll see a slew of options. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, you can keep it up for reference, but we'll be going over a few things. So, the British Army loves acronyms, and so do we. We've got one simple acronym, which helps us with dealing with casualties. And that acronym is 8. As he is spelled by Akagrupa Elkin, A-E-E-T, Alpha Echo Echo Tango, standing for a 4-letter acronym, naturally standing for 4 words, stating alert, eliminate, evacuate, and treat. Now, all fine and dandy if we know what the letters stand for, but we must understand what they mean. So, does anybody perhaps know what alert would stand for? Well, you're first, Mr. Walita, go ahead.
It would imply man down. To let your buddies know
It would
that
imply man
someone's
down,
come
or
out.
would it mean man down?
It would mean man down.
Very good. Step back. Yes, indeed. Alert stands for manned down. Your job in the section is to be a link man, so whenever you see something happen, whenever you hear an order, your job is to pass it up. If I just got shot, you go into 8. What is the first letter of 8, Mr. Plant?
Hey.
You and Whisper, please get on normal. Mr. Blunt, I cannot hear you.
Sorry, my push-to-talk queue is acting up. Repeat the question.
What is the first letter in 8?
A.
A, what does it stand for?
Alert.
I've just got down. What do you do? Gentlemen, this course will take as long as it needs for you to learn. I do not mind being on here for 6 hours. I hope you don't either. So gentlemen, please, I advise you to listen and to pay attention. I also advise you to write stuff down, I say, because you will be questioned. And if you don't know these answers, the chances are you will not pass. So as I said again, 8, first letter in 8 is A, stands for alert. What alert means is that when a man goes down, you yell it as loud as you can. Man down. Man down. Informing your section that the man has gone down. Now, let's go to the second letter. The first E, which stands for... Boof, do you remember what it stands for?
AE, so it's I can't remember.
Howls, what about you?
I can't remember.
Right, again, write this stuff down. I will say it again. A-E-E-T. Alert, eliminate, evacuate, treat. The E, first E, would stand for, as I said, eliminate. What do we eliminate? Mr. Riley?
Whoever shot your friend who went down.
Indeed. Long story short, we eliminate the enemy. So, what does eliminate mean? Very simple. We have to win the firefight. Doesn't mean we've got to kill everybody. It just means we've got to have fire superiority. We have to win the firefight. Once we have won the firefight, we then go into the second letter, which is evacuate. What is evacuate? Very simple. You've got a man down, so you must evacuate the casualty. Now, you can't just run in the open field and pick up a guy because you get shot, and you'll have 2 guys that are down. So what do? You evacuate him with either the use of smoke or suppression. What is more handy? Could be both. And once you have evacuated the casualty to a safe location, we go into T, which is treat, which means naturally that we treat the casualty. Righty. So, 8. Please tell me what the second E stands for. Mr. Riley.
Eliminate. Oh, sorry.
Did I say your name? I did not. Mr. Tiller, what does the A stand for?
The A stands for alert.
Wonderful. Mr. Walita, what does the second E stand for?
The second E is evacuate.
Wonderful. And last but not least, what does the stand for? Mr. Ward.
Treat.
Very good. Alert, eliminate, evacuate, treat. Remember this, because it'll be very important once you get to your sections. You're going to have to know this sort of stuff. Now, if we come to treat, the T, we must know what to treat. What is he? Have any of you gentlemen heard of the tier system?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. So, the tiers are split into 4, technically 5. We'll go over that in a second. Tier 1, casualty. A tier 1 casualty is what we call a close to death casualty. He is most likely unconscious, he has been heavily hit, and is likely to die, so he's top priority. I say again, tier 1 is top priority. Now we have tier 2. A tier 2 casualty is what we generally call a walking wounded. A tier 2 casualty is somebody who is combat ineffective with either broken legs or broken arms, which means he either cannot run or he's got such weapon swing that he's combat ineffective. He basically cannot aim. That would be a tier 2 casualty, combat ineffective. Now a tier 3 casualty is an individual who has received fire, has taken shots, has taken injuries, whatever means they may be, but he's able to run, he's able to function as a soldier, but he's still hurt. He's still a casualty, but he's a tier 3 casualty. Now it goes from priority tier 1, then tier 2, then tier 3, then tier 4. Who here knows what a tier 4 would be? Please step forward. Mr. Booth.
Dead.
Wonderful. Dead. Mr. Booth, I'll ask you a secondary question. Actually, step back. Mr. Walito, how would you determine if an individual is dead?
You would check their heart rate.
You would? Well, damn, you've been accepted into free medical very quickly, haven't you? Why do I say this? You will never know if an individual is Tier 4. I will never know if an individual is Tier 4. Nobody behind me will know if an individual is Tier 4. Only if they've been told so by a free medical individual. But they are the only individuals in the unit who are qualified and trained to identify a dead soldier. That might seem stupid to you because you've played Arma before, and you know if a guy goes ragdoll, he's dead. Doesn't work like here. Doesn't work that way. If you shoot me right now, I will crumble to my feet, and you will not know if I'm dead or if I'm alive. We've got a mod in place which adds custom animations which basically look the same as a ragdoll. So unless you're a medical professional, you really won't know. So keep it to them. Never identify a Tier 4. Always assume he's Tier 1. Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful. Now, any idea what the technical Tier 5 would be? Nope. You don't have to know this, but it's a little nitbit. A Tier 5 would be an individual who is badly fucked, and there's nothing you can do for him except call a priest. Naturally, this is Arma, so we don't have that sort of thing, but this is what you have in real life. It's a Tier 5, but that's just a little neat thing for you to know. So, any questions, gentlemen? No, wonderful. I do. Please, explain to me in the order of precedence of the tiers. Mr... Oh, that's nice you volunteered yourself. Mr. Ward.
Yeah. So do you want me to start Tier 1? Tier 1 is close to death casualty.
No, I just want you to list the tiers.
Alright, so you're going Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. And then a Tier 5 if you're getting technical.
Alrighty. But Tier 5 would be above a Tier 4 because it's still technically alive. Wonderful. So, what does a Tier 1 stand for? What does it mean? Mr. House.
Close to death.
Close to death. Could you specify it?
So unconscious.
Does he have to be unconscious? It will very rarely happen, but he can be conscious, although that's very rare. Most likely he will be unconscious. Now, what would be a Tier 2 casualty, Mr. Attila?
Tier 2 casualty would be combat ineffective, damaged limbs, or shaky arms.
Wonderful. That would be a Tier 3 casualty. Mr. Walito.
Tier 3 casualty would be someone who has sustained certain injuries but is still combat effective.
Wonderful. Mr. Bland, what is a Tier 4 casualty?
Assume dead.
Very good. And Mr. Riley, how would you identify a Tier 4 casualty?
You wouldn't. You would wait for someone qualified to identify them for you.
Wonderful. You would indeed. Now, if we got these tiers of casualties, damn, we gotta treat them. Now, if we have no idea how to do this, we'll put some things on, we'll put some makeup on, we'll dress them up nicely, and then it'll die. So, let me teach you how to do it properly, and how Free Medical does it as well. So, it is very simple, and it's very easy to follow. Bandages, if you gentlemen are familiar with Ace Medical, they're not exactly the same in Ace Medical Vanilla than what they are in the 4th. We have it customized, we have it adapted for our purposes. So, you will have 3 types of bandages. You will have elastic, you will have packing, and you will have quick clot. Now, elastic. Elastic you use on Tier 1 and Tier 2 individuals if they have less than 4 injuries. I say again, less than 4 injuries. So that is elastic. Now for packing, same Tier 1 and Tier 2 individuals when there are 4 or more wounds present. So 4 or more wounds. Now quick clot, on the other hand, can be applied at any time. It is a bandage you will most likely have to apply twice as much, but it lasts an incredible amount of time, but it also takes a very long time to apply. It's a long-lasting bandage. It's useful if you have a bit of low time. You can patch yourself up, and you will note that bandage will stay in place for probably 20 minutes, if not longer. Now, we come to the second bit, which is an important thing I have to cover about bandages. I'm not sure what you've been taught or what you think. You cannot stack bandages. So you can't put in an elastic and then a quick clot and then a tourniquet, and then a packing bandage on. It doesn't work. Once you apply a bandage and the wound is healed, or it is bandaged, I should say, it's done. You have to wait until it reopens before you can reapply a bandage. So note that, do not stack bandages, you'll just be wasting medical equipment. Now, if your limbs are bleeding, there's a simple solution to stop that. It's called tourniquets. Tourniquets basically a rope that you tie around your limbs. I don't suggest tying it around your neck, well, unless you wish to terminate yourself. When it comes to tourniquets, an important thing to note is they're very useful but also very dangerous. If you ever apply it to somebody, tell them, even if they're unconscious. If you apply it to yourself, note it down. Because if it stays on a limb longer than 5 minutes, you will start experiencing pain. If it stays on for long enough, you will go unconscious. And the medic will scream at you. So don't do it. Right, now we come to the fun bits. Morphine and epinephrine. Who can give out morphine and epinephrine? Who wants some? Answer is none of you fuckers. Then when it comes to T4, only medical personnel will ever touch, look, or even smell at morphine and epinephrine. I will not tell you what it does. I will not tell you what it's used for. You keep your grubby hands off of them. If you get caught with them on a shakedown, if I catch you, I will fuck you over. If Walker catches you, God help you. And if Singer catches you, no, then God can't help you. Understood?
Remember,
Yes.
shit rolls downhill.
Wonderful, gentlemen.
So if he catches you with
So,
it, then he
packing
then
bandages.
He's the one that gets the bollocking.
What are the best used for? Mr. Riley.
BFG for Tier 1 and Tier 2 casualties where you require 4 or more wounds to be treated.
Very good. And how about an elastic bandage? Mr. Booth.
Elastic is used for Tier 1 and 2 with less than 4 injuries.
Very good. Gentlemen, what about quick clot? When would you use that type of bandage? Mr. Ward.
For any type of injury, it's a long-lasting bandage.
Very good. What would you use on a Tier 3 casualty, so a Tier 3 individual? Mr. Wallito.
Tier 3 would probably go for field dressings.
You don't get issued field dressings, so you probably wouldn't. Outstanding kit. For a Tier 3 individual, basically just use whatever you can. Doesn't really matter at that point. If it's just one wound, just use what you can. Noting what quick clot is good for and what elastic and packing are good for. Ready. So, can we stack bandage effects? If you think so, please step forward. Oh, no discharges today. Sad. Sad me. Ready. Mr. Bland, please tell me when and how would you use the morphine stick?
Never.
Good. And how about epinephrine? Mr. Tiller.
Never.
Very good. And what would you do if you apply a tourniquet? Mr. Booth.
Notify either the person you're applying it to or any medical personnel that happen to be treating the guy at the time.
Alright. And for how long can a tourniquet stay on before it starts causing pain, Mr. Ward?
Less than 5 minutes.
Very good. And what will happen if it stays on too long, Mr. Wallito?
You'll start to experience pain.
Very good. Any questions, gentlemen?
One.
Yes, go ahead.
Is quick clot basically used as a under fire quick deal with it until you can see a proper medic about it.
A quick thought from a soldier's advice, or from a section commander's advice. Use it when the firefight is ceased, when you've got a minute to apply a bandage. Use it then, it'll last you a long time. In the midst of a firefight, I don't suggest it because it takes a long time.
I don't mean in the middle, I mean as in it's a good stopgap until you can find an actual medic.
Indeed.
Yeah, okay.
Indeed. Ready, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
One thing.
Sergeant Walker, all yours. Thank you.